Hello there and happy Monday. I'm Jessy Chahal and you're watching The Brief. Thanks for being with us. Today I'll be joined by YB Senator Datuk Adiba Radzi. She joins us to talk about the upcoming International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Now, as a run-up to that observance, which is from the 30th right up till the 2nd or 30th of November right up to the 2nd of December, there'll also be an exhibition and concert at the Damansara Performing Arts. I'll be giving you more details on that. And with family WhatsApp group chats are a buzz, of course, at this point with Omicron, the new variant. Hey, look, our fears are valid. Nordin Abdullah will join me to talk or walk us through the trinity of getting us through these uncertain times. Once again, thanks for joining us. And of course, at The Brief, we want to bring you updates that will highlight some of the important topics that are trending in and around the country. Now, I'd like to bring in my guest today, joining me via Skype, Senator Adiba Radzi, to discuss and give us more information about the upcoming International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Senator, thanks for being with us. Good afternoon. The theme this year for IDPD 2021 is leadership and participation of persons with disabilities towards an inclusive, accessible, and sustainable post-COVID world. How are you in your capacity as the Senator in charge of PWD affairs? How would you define this, Senator? Senator, I think perhaps you might be on mute. You would need to unmute yourself.
Hang on.
We just had you. Nope, we'll need you to unmute. That happens sometimes as we adapt to the new norm. We talk about a post-COVID-19. Well, there you go, Senator. All right, I'd like to also welcome Nordin on board. I always look forward to our three-panel discussions here while YB gets the unmute button sorted. Nordin, tell us a little bit about this huge theme: leadership and participation of persons with disabilities toward an inclusive, accessible, and sustainable COVID-19 world.
Well, it's really wonderful to see what YB Senator Adiba Radzi has been doing in and around that space of making sure those critical communities are being taken care of during this time. She's really taken a leadership role, and I think this is really the first time we've seen in Malaysia this kind of attention and this kind of media coverage especially have been brought to light for those people. And it's a large percentage of the population we're talking about here. We're talking about 15% of the population. So, of course, there's a gap between those who are registered and those who aren't registered. So it's good that the Senator has taken this leadership role to really bring things to light.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen, as you've pointed out as well, through initiatives and really having people on the ground pushing this agenda, we do see a lot more awareness and a lot more, empathy, I guess, towards what should have been already addressed perhaps in the past. Noted. Well, Senator, welcome back. It's good to have you unmuted. We were talking about the theme, leadership and participation of persons with disabilities toward an inclusive, accessible, and sustainable post-COVID-19 world. Senator, how are you in your capacity as Senator in charge of PWD affairs? How do you think you can define this?
Thanks so much for inviting me. Well, you know what, as someone who is spearheading the team of the 4.7 million OKUs, PWDs in the country, there's just so many things that I have to do, but I cannot do it alone. I have to do it and work together with all the different disabled leaders, PWD leaders, and also the different associations, and of course with the ministries and also the NGOs and the private sectors. You cannot do things alone because it's a huge population of persons with disability of the 7 different categories. So it hasn't been easy, especially during the pandemic. But what I have been telling my friends is we have to stick together and reach out. The able-bodied must also be looking out for persons with disabilities as well, and also the elderlies, so that we know, if there's things that we can help. And one of the things that we're doing right now is actually staging Kau dan Aku, which is actually a show where all the disabled will be performing. This is in conjunction of the World Disabled Day on the 3rd of December. So we'll be having a mini concert and also an art exhibition where all our friends will be singing, will be dancing, playing music, and will be showing us some of the works that they've done, especially what has transpired. They put it out on canvas during the pandemic. So it's going to be very exciting.
Absolutely, and I share that again. December 3rd is International Day of Persons with Disabilities. That's coming up in just a couple of days, and there will be an exhibition and concert at the Damansara Performing Arts. And amongst the guests of honors that will be there, of course, primarily the Prime Minister himself will be joining us. Kau dan Aku. There will be vocal performances by yourself, Senator. That will be, definitely a moment I'm sure people will want to catch. And so, of course, more information is available online. This exhibition happens at the concourse area, and the performance will be at the auditorium at the Damansara Performing Arts. Senator, while I have you on the line, in terms of national level observance and awareness, what is Malaysia focusing on from here on, moving into a brand new year, 2022?
Okay, well, you know what? One of the most important things that we need to do is actually to create more awareness on persons with disability. We need to make sure that we get all parents to register their children, especially making sure that they follow through with the early intervention. We still have a lot of families who do not want to, have people know that they have a disabled child, and they are too embarrassed and thinking that they're able to look after their child all the way. And then I tell them, you must empower us. You must make sure that we go to school. You must make sure, that we be treated equally and have us be independent, because if you're not there, then how are we going to manage on our own, So, and let's not be embarrassed, but rather support the disabled so that we can be part of the society of this Malaysian family of Keluarga Malaysia. So I'm just going to continue, especially via us in BERNAMA and also with all our other media friends, for us to create more awareness on persons with disability, make sure people's perception and mindset change, so as they can embrace us, and then also, have us be as just as ourselves, and not discriminate, allowing us to go to school, give us the opportunity to work based on our, on the qualifications that we have. I have friends who are doctors and who have master's degree, and they end up just being, a clerk, which is ridiculous. So.
Yeah, I think you highlighted something so basic but so important, fundamental towards the progress of many of the initiatives to empower PWD, and that of course is awareness and education. And I think that the upcoming exhibition as well, and really highlights that. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit more in terms of performers and those putting up their artwork, some backstory, perhaps, Senator.
Okay, some of our performers have been performing for Yongs already for a long, long time. We have one person, his name is Shariel. He's from the group of a band called Muniros. He's became blind, his eyes deteriorated over the years. So we're getting him to perform again. He was with us in BERNAMA when we celebrated last year. And we will have Dini and Hai. They're upcoming singers, really, really good. And we have the Eyelids, who sing songs like Beautiful Maria of My Soul. They have amazing voice. And then we have beautiful gate dancers, wheelchair dancing, the Oki Central and Mido dance troupe, where there'll be wheelchair dancers and also the ones who are able-bodied who'll be with us. And myself, yes. And then we have Umar Hasfizal, who is autistic. He's an amazing singer. He's grown over the years, and he's done really, really well and made us proud. And we have we have the we have Deaf Beat, who's going to be performing with the big drums, and they're really, really amazing, these guys. And for our artists who will be showing all their paintings, we have Izati Sharin and about 12 others as well. They are going to be showing us their works. One is the ones before the pandemic and then during the pandemic. So you will see some of the changes in the way they paint. The strokes are different. They don't want to do this anymore. It's their feel is different. So all this we will be able to see in the exhibition.
And I think that's so artistically beautiful as well, to relay a message to the masses that, look, there is variety, that even though we are PWD, we are not all just the same, or we're not just lumped in one category. We are still our own people with our own personalities and our own talents and skills as well. Senator, what's your message to Malaysia? Who should come? Who should be lobbying for this? Who should be supporting? Who should be watching this?
Oh, we are going to be holding it online on the OKU Central platform and also mine. So I would like to get all the OKUs out there to come and watch it. I do not really encourage them to come out to watch because of our condition. But I like to invite them and their family members and their carers to watch us online so that they can see what has progressed over the years, the works of their other friends. And I also would like people to see that just because we're disabled, that does not mean that we cannot do like what other people do. We express differently, we sing differently, our sounds, our movements are different, our expressions are different, but our hearts are the same. We just want to be happy and we just want to be treated equally. And quite honestly, it's by invitation. So someone who would like to come will be able to share the numbers of the people who they can be in touch with. People will come not just to watch our show again, but also to buy some of the paintings and also support the works of our community and help them economically and really just come and cheer us on.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Senator, for spending some time with us. I know you're in between, meetings and things to do in your car joining us, but it's always a pleasure to have you on. I just wanted to remind our viewers as well that the Prime Minister will officiate this event that, of course, is in conjunction with the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Senator, we'll speak to you soon. Till then, all the best for this event and do take care.
You too.
Okay, so the International Day of Persons with Disabilities on December 3rd. Do make note and do provide and share any kind of support you can. And of course, in the new norm, that is via social media and tuning in from wherever you can on their Facebook Live or YouTube. I'm sure details are available on the official sites as well. Look, so it's time to bring in Nordin Abdullah right now, our crisis management expert, to weigh in a little bit on some of very pressing issues. Nordin, thanks for standing by. You two are out and about. But what's out there right now is really worrying. It's year end once again. We're back on high alert, but this time of the Omicron coronavirus variant. I must say, first, personally, this name gets me. It feels like it's something out of a Transformers movie, but it also sort of, shows us the urgency. Like, look, it is a very extremely, perhaps even more dangerous variant than Delta. Governments around the world are scrambling right now to protect their citizens from a potential outbreak. I mean, we have learned lessons in the past as well with the emergence of the Delta. It spread just in 3 weeks to 53 countries. So now today's headlines read that Omicron is likely here or near us. From a crisis point of view, Nordin, what do we need to understand?
Well, I think, Jessy, one of the key things that we need to consider is there's a certain theory in crisis management that actually your next crisis will be worse than your last crisis. And some of these things that we need to take into consideration. But one of the things that I'm very pleased to see that the government here in Malaysia has acted incredibly quickly in terms of dealing with those countries and closing down the access to those countries which have been identified as the source at this stage. Of course, whenever we talk about a crisis like this, it's always about containment. And one of the things that we're looking about, how will the government contain this? So that's one on one side. On the community side, we've got to keep going back to this almost like holy trinity of dealing with the crisis of COVID-19, where we've got to continue to deal with and follow the SOPs. The other weapon that we have against this virus is the vaccines. Vaccines and booster shots now for those who are now eligible. And the other component of this is actually misinformation and dealing with the kind of the war on the amount of fake news and the pandemic of fake news. So a lot of group chats have kind of exploded over the last couple of days in terms of what to be worried and all this kind of thing. So we've got to keep coming back to this, have a reliable source of information and only share information that is verified and stick to the SOPs. And if you haven't been vaccinated yet, now is really the time to get that done.
Right. So look, we've got this now, sort of an impending crisis, but governments are trying their best to react fast. And even Malaysia has, said that, they are vigilant and aware of this threat. But on the back of that as well, to sort of, encourage people to get their booster shots. It's about time right now for many Malaysians or those here in Malaysia who've got their vaccination already to get their booster shots. Now, according to a virologist, while boosting the vaccination rate, enhancing SOPs, and genomic surveillance are all the ways forward. It's at this point of time as well a bit too early in the game to ascertain whether Omicron could evade vaccine immunity. How much do we know about that? And again, there in terms of a crisis perspective as well, what is the way forward, Nordin?
Well, I think two things. One is Malaysia is sharing all the data right now. So this is a wonderful thing for us to be able to gauge that information and in terms of how quickly it does impact Malaysia or how heavily it impacts Malaysia. The other thing is we need to make informed decisions, data-driven decisions and data-driven policy decisions. So I think this is one thing that the Prime Minister spoke about last week. With his recent statements. And I think one thing that Khairy Jamaluddin, the Minister of Health, has driven this approach to dealing with the crisis here in Malaysia in terms of ensuring that data is used in the right decision-making processes. So with all that data, it all comes down to one simple idea. It's containment. Can we contain this and can we ensure that, we put up the protections that we need to ensure that it doesn't become a major problem here in Malaysia.
That's right. And perhaps also if we can prevent from, closing down international borders this time around again, or even national borders. Thank you very much, Nordin, for sharing and, of course, wishing you a great day ahead. Do take care and stay safe. That was Nordin Abdullah, crisis management expert, weighing in a little bit on, of course, Omicron, which is a deadly new variant on the block. I'll take you now to international news and what's happening globally. At a court in Myanmar, it was expected to deliver a verdict on ousted leader Aung San Suu Kyi tomorrow for allegedly breaching COVID-19 restrictions during a general election campaign. The verdict will be the first in her trial. She's facing 11 criminal cases with maximum sentences that total to more than a century in jail. Those include corruption and violating the Official Secrets Act. Her court hearings are being conducted behind closed doors. And as we talk about the new variant, global COVID updates, top U.S. infectious disease official Dr. Anthony Fauci warns that Omicron variant is easily transmissible and might override any existing immunity received from vaccines or from prior infection. Now, Omicron is potentially more contagious than previous variants as well, although it is unclear at this point whether it causes more or less severe COVID-19 compared to the other strains. But as usual, SOPs need to be maintained, and perhaps it's time now to, be extra careful. Now, with the discovery of this new variant in South Africa, its president says that he's deeply disappointed by the imposition of travel bans by rich Western countries after hearing about the new variant. He's had a few things to say. Let's hear what he had to say. All right, South African officials say they are furious about a British ban on flights from southern African countries, and many South Africans feel that they are being punished for their transparency and hard work in monitoring this issue. Well, it's time to say goodbye, but before I let you go, here's something from the Prime Minister's desk. He says Malaysians should be proud that Bahasa Melayu is not only still being used internationally, but is ranked the 10th most popular language in the world. The Prime Minister goes on to say that there are currently more than 6,000 languages still in use, but only 20 languages, including Bahasa Melayu, are recognized as official languages. Well, that's all for today's edition of The Brief. I'm Jessy Chahal. Thanks for watching.